Hello there, YouTube. This is Zootecher Steve. Welcoming you back to another episode of our Let's Play Planet Zoo series Next Levels. So, as you probably recall from our last episode, we started by putting in this giant anteater exhibit. We put in this neat little underground viewing area, and we were able to even see that the underground viewing area works, that they would crawl in here to get the food and then crawl back out, which was pretty cool. And then I kind of stopped because we were going long and I didn't want to make you watch and sit down for 3 hours while I tried to figure out how to build an inside exhibit for them. So instead I'm going to have you watch as I try to learn how to build an indoor exhibit area for a whole other animal. I'm going to kind of experiment with this, teach myself how to do it right in front of your eyes, and then I'll go back and do that part off camera so you don't have to watch 2 videos for one exhibit. So this is a plan that came to me. I don't want to say it was in a crazy moment of craziness, but it was in a crazy moment of craziness. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to sort of make a new pathway leading off here. And I'm going to make a little themed area for South America. I got the South America pack, and I haven't really used it yet, but we're going to make a little South America place based off that. So the first thing I'm going to do, before I forget about it, is I'm going to go into mechanics research, and I don't think I've unlocked anything specifically in the South America theme. I have not. So I'm going to take my most experienced person and actually put them right on that, so that we can get some South American specific things. But we're not going to worry about that much for the first exhibit, because the first exhibit we're going to do is llamas. We're going to build like a little barn structure that the llamas can live in, and then we'll put that inside the exhibit. We'll put down the actual like hay bedding that they need inside that barn area. And if everything goes right, you're going to be able to walk through the barns. Fingers crossed, you're going to be able to walk through the barn. Big fingers crossed asterisks. And around the exhibit for the llamas. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of build the barn structure like we did for a reptile house. I'll probably just record that without sound and then do it a little sped up, since you do have the reptile house showing you what to do. And then we're going to go ahead and make the actual exhibit for the llamas and build pathways going through it. So it'll be like this own little section in this corner of the zoo, which we've got plenty of room for. I don't think the llamas will take much. Before we make mistakes, let's go ahead and do a quick search. This would be the only double L. Okay. So real quick, natural habitat, we can put them in grassland, taiga, and temperate. 2 to 30, up to 30 males and up to 30 females, so we can have as many as we want, really. And we do have like a couple of their things already unlocked, so that's going to be nice, so we can start putting down enrichments right away. They don't like to be with other species, so that's not a problem. And how much space do they need? That's what I was really looking for. 550 meters squared. So really not that much space. I mean, they're a herd animal, so that's kind of what you'd expect. Alright, so we'll go ahead and try to build that barn. I've got an idea in my head, but I'm not 100%. In fact, let's go ahead and grab some of these llamas here too before I forget that. Not necessarily. We've got 4 available. They're all female though. That's interesting. Well, that's okay. We can go ahead and grab the females now, and as they repopulate, we can introduce males into it. Are some of them better than the others? We might just start with a handful. Oh, these guys are pretty cheap. So yeah, I think this was a good idea to go with. You're really good. You're all in the green. Good genes on that one. This one has low fertility. Low. Okay, so there's one good one, and there were some not so good ones. Oh well, we'll just go ahead and adopt all 4 because they're so cheap. And they don't need that much space and everything. Okay, go ahead and throw this in there. And now, let's go ahead and get to that barn building, which should work. At least it works in my head. Goodness gracious me, this is never going to work. Okay, here we go. So, excuse me, the first thing I need to do here is start with an apology. As you can see, we've got a barn already kind of built here, and the reason we do is because my screen recorder crashed on me again. So gonna need a new screen recorder because that's now 2 episodes in a row it's done that. I apologize. A big thing I want to show you here is that in Planet Zoo, you can see that when you attach something to a grid, you can move it, wiggle back and forth there, like I did a second ago. When you wiggle it back and forth, that gives you a little bit of ability to kind of make some depth. But you can see I'm walking us through the barn here, more or less. I've put in a couple of different areas. I put in one large pin on the end here, to kind of let you see it all. And let's go ahead and finish it up. I'm not quite done because the thing just crashed. I immediately stopped. But you can see here it's going to be our main big pathway for people to walk through in front of the stalls. So the idea is going to be that we're going to run a fence through the barn. And that should, in theory, if I understand the game mechanics, allow us to allow the llamas to go into the part of the barn that's behind their fence and allow humans to walk through the part of the barn that's on the other side of the fence. So let's go ahead and lay down that pathway here. Coming off here. Lulu. And I think we take another one from here and kind of combine them into a big fat pathway like this. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Do I want that to wiggle or waggle or no? But I do want to kind of clean it up here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Give them a little more room. Do I want a little more room? No, no. Nope, okay. Let's just leave it like that. And then we'll get a nice long straight pathway down. And I'm going to kind of put some room. Where do I want to start this fence? Yeah, okay. We're going to start out here. Like I said, I'm going to kind of put some room between this and the giant anteaters, just in case we want to sort of theme this area. Because I know with that South American expansion pack the llamas come from, there's a lot of South American content specifically. So I'll leave it in case we want to do like a little entrance to the South American section of the zoo. And we can always put another exhibit on the other side of the anteaters as well. Okay. And let's go ahead and finish off this fence then. Yeah. Just go ahead and stretch this out as long as we can. And then we'll turn this at 90 degrees. And it's probably going to be easier, let's see, it's going to be easier to do the fence to the barn or the barn to the fence. Probably barn to the fence. Let's just go ahead and get this more or less straightened up. It should be with that very front wall like that. I did it right. Alright. And now let's go ahead and add other fences. We'll just make this as long as we can. And we'll unsnap it. Don't want the ankle snap, I want to be able to play with it a little bit. Like that. Nope. Like that, yes. And we'll go through this barn here. And end up connecting it to the other side once we've got it done. Okay, I think that's more or less as straight as we get it. We just kind of want them on the same degree of angle. Yeah, that's good. That's real good. Now we're going to take this fence here, and we're going to go ahead and just lower that fence down so it's kind of flush with the top. Very good. And we'll go ahead and raise this one back up, I think. Like that. Just going to play with the angles a little bit. Just going to add another post here so we can play with it. Good. And I think we need to grab this post here and raise it up like so. Okay, that'll work. And we'll have to put another tall fence going around. But that's fine for now, because we want this to stay flush with our barn. Okay. Flush with the barn. Flush with the barn. Good, good. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn some of this fencing. Let's go ahead and some of this fencing into chain link so that people can see through it. I could just window it, but I feel like that's too much for llamas, if you feel me. But we'll go ahead and make that area for now. We can add in other viewing areas once we put pathways around. Since I don't know where the pathway's going quite yet, I'm not going to quite do that. I have this natural path. Do I want to use that for the inside of the barn? I mean, I could lay down dirt and put the natural path over it, but I think I'm gonna go with the wood. I think I'm just gonna make it all wooden. So let's go ahead, snap this to our grid. It's associated, and it should be flush, or more or less flush then. Ooh, I'm gonna duck below. I really think it's a good idea to put in the roofs last on all of these things. But you can see the camera's got enough manipulation we can get in here. Sorry, Mr. Fence, I don't want you there. In fact, it looks like we're going to need to back this off slightly to accommodate our floor. That's fine. So we'll just move that slightly. Oops, we need to snap you to grid. Like that. Oop. Attach it to the grid on the barn. Yes. It looks like we might need to do a little bit more fence moving. Let's fill in as much as we can before we do that then. And I don't think I want that one going out there. Okay. And there should be... Yeah, I can't lay down these two, so let's take a look at our fence. Fence itself, please. And we probably want this post here. Yeah. Just kind of play with it a slight little bit. Extend this out here. And then we'll push it back a little bit off the ground so that won't interfere with our pathway. Snap to grid, snap to this grid. It's still a little too close. That's one thing about this game. You do kind of have to play with and finagle a few things. But as long as you're willing to take the time, you can make it look really, really good. So I'm not complaining. Oh, we got one in, not two. We'll get it. I believe in us. Unfortunately, there's a little blank area between the big stall and the little stalls that I put in here, so no one will even see that fence moving. Perfect. Good. I'm just trying to decide if I want it out a little bit. Okay, so we're obviously going to have to tweak this fence here. And we'll just make kind of like a little spread out area. Let me go ahead and move this here. And let's go ahead and extend this. Yeah, we'll extend this out a little bit just so like people leaving the barn might have another view of the llamas as they leave. And I want this to be more or less straight. Oh, a little too long. Take it back to there. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll loop it into there. Okay. We could always, again, play with it a little bit to finagle it, but that's pretty good. That's going to give us way more space than we even need for our llamas, so not going to be an issue. Okay, now the tricky part, getting this pathway. This will be a real testament to show if I actually understand how the paths work in this game or not, if I can get this to work. And I think I am going to have to do a little bit of finagling with the width of the path, because I don't know exactly. I guess it should be the 8 meters across, because I set 2 down. But let's go ahead, and we'll get it up against this fence, and then kind of come in straightish. And it's not quite right. That's 6 meters. I think I need it to be 8 meters. But that looks too fat. Maybe if I come at it from the other way. I'll figure this out. It's going to come to me. And I'm not even going to edit this. I'm going to leave it in so you can see how I eventually do this. Okay, so at 6 meters, it's not as bad as the grid. Let me go ahead here. I'm going to extend a cement path out on the grid. And that way I don't have to worry about accidentally messing up my barn. I can play and experiment outside here. So I can go wide and it'll eventually tee in. But that's not what I want. I want it to get fatter. And I think I almost had it there. That's not terrible. It zigs off a little bit. Let me get rid of it though. Try to get this. Hey, now we're talking about something. So, why is it not widening at this end? Oh, it's because it's uneven. Let's get that fixed. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And then I should be able to take a big path off here. Get this the right size. Yes, okay. Perfect. See, I do understand the paths, because I was able to logic my way into that. And then we'll just turn these squares back into wood, because that's going to be the easiest way to fix this. Oh, obstructed. I can just lay that. Nope. Z. Okay. We can just let the wood come in a little bit. Okay, I think I know why that was, because I initially did that as a Z path. Okay. So So what we're going to do is put in another post here and change this to wood so it lines up with that. And there, now it looks like we plan to do that. In fact, let's go ahead and stretch this wooden part out a little bit to kind of separate those two viewing areas. And that's the area where the path kind of zigs off anyway. So again, it makes it just look a little more planned. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. I think that's going to be the basics for the llama exhibit. Now I want to draw people in here. Let's go ahead and get our llamas, I guess. Yeah, let's get our llamas, and then we'll start putting in the enrichment objects and the things they want. And why is it not letting me put? Oh, I haven't put a gate in yet. We're gonna need a gate for the llamas. So where do I want to put this? I want to put this in a zookeeper only area. So let's go ahead and drop it here. And we can always move this later, but for now we'll just drop that here and put a zookeeper path to it. I want a human path so our guests can walk by this other viewing area that we've put in. Like this. We'll do it small so we can get it as close as possible so we don't have to worry about the bend. Okay. And then we'll zig it out a little bit and let the zookeeper thing just connect for now. Boom. And if you don't know the difference between the regular path and the zookeeper path, everyone, including the zookeepers, can walk on the regular paths, but only zookeepers will walk on the zookeeper path. The guests know not to go on it. So that's why we have two different paths, because we don't want guests getting lost in the back areas. But let's get our llamas in now that we've got a gate, so that way they have a way to get in and drop the llamas off. Transfer, transfer, transfer. This is probably a better opening exhibit. Now that I think about it, better than the Komodo dragons because they require much less space. And it's kind of easier to build viewing areas for them too, now that I think about it. Oh well. Let's go ahead now and see what enrichment objects we have that fit our llamas. And sure enough, all of the beddings we have. So I'm going to take these small beddings, or actually we're going to take a medium because they fit better, and just put them in those stalls that we put inside the barn. Like so, and that way the llamas will have a reason to go in and lay down in the stalls. And what are we going to do? Fortunately, we can't quite fit one of these sort of pre-made barn things inside, I don't think, which is unfortunate. Because they look really good, but they just don't quite fit that large one. So instead, what I'm going to do, am I even going to put a little one? No, what I'm going to do is put a large hay bedding. And then I'm also going to put some water and food in this large one. So it's like a social area where multiple ones can hang out and get multiple things that they need filled. So let me grab a food trough here for them as well. Oops. There. Alright, it's inside, and I'm not hitting the wall hitbox. And we've got our herd of llamas going through. Are llamas a herd? I don't know. I hope so. Comment in the comments below if you know the collective noun for llamas. I'll put in a couple caretakers and stuff, because we're going to assign this as a new work zone. Go ahead and add that there. Okay. So you are all tasked to work zone 4. Work zone 4 forevermore. We've got a... Just haven't hit the minimum number of guests yet. Okay. I'm going to start fulfilling those goals and requirements. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to steal the shop that I kind of temporarily put up here to draw people towards our giant anteater exhibit. Thinking that we would continue in that area and then deciding differently. And I'm going to put it in this sort of middle area here. Exit. And we want this as well. No, I don't want to build on the group. I just want to move you. Oh. It's interesting. I just grab the food stand again instead of grabbing the... Oh. Interesting. Alright, well, I've got the cash. I'll just go ahead and make a copy. You off the grid so I can put you guys right next to each other, and then we'll put that little facade over top of them. Okay. Grab this pre-made facade, just slap it on top there. making it all nice and happy. What else do we want to put down? I guess we'll put down an information booth. Curve it slightly to match the path. And on the other side, we'll put a small bathroom with an ATM, of course. Want them to be able to afford these things. What else? What else? Yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and put in a. Try to figure out. I think this is the shop that we haven't put down, so there's a souvenir shop for them too. Okay. Money, money, money. Put a facade over that souvenir shop. Just one of these prefab ones are fine for now. There we go. There we go. Alright, what does llama need to make llama happy? We want a lot more short grass, so let's go ahead and get that gone. We also need sand, or at least they tolerate sand, and I think it's going to look better if we just kind of map out pathways for them. So let's go ahead and turn the entire interior part of the barn into sand. After all, it is a barn, not a field. Loo. Just kind of map all this area in. It's a little hard to do because we're doing it through the walls, but you get the idea. Loo. And then we're going to shorten this out so we can use it to make pathways. Now it looks like grass has been worn down by our llamas. So I turned down the intensity a little bit, but it didn't work the way I thought it would. So go ahead and put in the short grass now that they prefer. Get that all in the green. Yeah, that's good. Now they can use more coverage. And I don't have any enrichment items for them yet, so I need to get some enrichment items. I don't have a food enrichment yet, but I do have this thing that makes it smell like hay, herb scent. So I'll drop a couple of those. And now let's go ahead and make the exhibit a little more interesting by putting in a couple high areas and low areas. So I'm just going to throw these dots down and then I'm going to adjust them out. Kind of widen them and then we'll smooth them and rough them up and do what we need to do to make it look like some slow rolling hills that our llamas can walk up and down. Like the Andes foothills from whence they came. I'll play with it a little bit. This game has a lot of let's play with it a little bit to get it the way we want it to look. Which is actually good for me because it encourages me to kind of keep tweaking things. I think a problem that I had before, particularly in some other games, was that I would kind of get it partially way there, and then I'd be like, well, I'm done for now, and then I would put it aside without completely finishing it. But since this keeps encouraging me to make little tweaks, maybe that'll be better. Let's go ahead and switch our hyena research over to llamas so we can get those enrichment items they need. But yeah, that's fine for a basic llama thingy. Let's see. What do I want to put down here? Where are the signs? What I want is a sign. Can I just copy a sign? The problem is the sign stand and the sign are different. I'll find it. I need to know where this is so I can look it up quickly. So I'll find it here and try to memorize it. Where are the information signs? Information signs. Signs del información. There they are. So they're actually down with like the ambient rocks and the educational thing. So we'll go ahead and put a billboard here, throw the llamas on it, and then we'll grab a educational speaker. We'll put it in this corner next to these two viewing areas. Sit on llamas and then crank the range so everyone looking at the llamas can hear it. Let's go ahead and get you some foliage. So they're grassland, obviously Central South America. There's some things there that are okay. How about this tree? It's okay. I do like this pampas grass though. Let's go ahead and throw this stuff down. Build it up around the pond here. Make it look like the seeds have settled on the rocky shores. Speaking of rocky shores, let's throw some rocks down. And I don't want to make it too rocked. Probably because I just built that cave thingy in the giant anteaters, and I used a lot of rocks there, and I'm a little out. So we'll just put down a few. And now we'll finish up making those pathways. So like the llamas go up under the tree, they come around this. They don't go up the hill, they go around the hill kind of sporadically. Let's get some more trees, but from other biomes, because the trees weren't really good in that Central South American grassland. So let's see, they're also temperate. These are a little better. You put these in the corners here, kind of disguise where the fence ends. Like these bushes. Like me, these bushes. Let's use these. And we'll go ahead and put another rock in there. So it's like, again, the seeds kind of caught on the rock. That's not bad. And how is the view from this angle? That's pretty good too. Let's go ahead and add in some, there they are. Let's go ahead and add some benches in this area. And trash cans and recycle bins. I'm going to move you out a little bit so you're at the same spacing. And we'll go ahead and grab some of the trees from our general zoo and kind of back foliage this area. We might end up ripping all these trees out to put in another exhibit just to the north of them, but for now, let's make it look like this area was planned. And we can always move these trees around and reuse them since they're the sort of general trees we're using for our llama, or for our zoo in general. Okay, we just put those back there to disguise the pathway towards the zookeeper area, so it's not as in your face. So many people stop there. That's good, I guess. The Komodo dragons, at least for our financial successes. Again, I would probably move them, but we can move them. That is an option we have. That exhibit's not quite enough space for them anyway, so probably should think about doing that. All right, kind of like this. I'm going to put in some of the taller trees back behind here so you can see them when you're looking at the llamas peeking over the fence. See? Good, good. And going into our barn. I don't like how that one fence goes down. We'll go ahead and put in like a little faux fence here. So we're going to have just a little guy popping this way and then going that way. And we're just going to make it disappear into our barn. But for the people looking at it, it will look right. And if I wanted to be super pedantic, what I could do is have the fence that leans down in the barn wall. But I'm not going to fiddle with that here because we're already approaching the half-hour mark, so don't want to split this up into two. Let's go ahead and put a feeder trough down here towards the guest areas to prompt them to head that way. And Habitat 9, vet cannot reach. Oh, vet cannot reach because we have not assigned a vet to that. Let's go ahead and hire a vet and put them in Zone 4. This is probably not the most economical way, just hiring a vet for pretty much every exhibit, but yeah, that's how I'm going to roll. All right, pause. So here we are at the completed exhibit, and you can see the barn actually turned out pretty well, at least this front area I'm really happy with. And as far as I can tell, running the fence behind the building is actually working because nobody's jumping over or anything like that. And our llamas seem decently happy. They've got plenty of room. You can see our first guests are starting to trickle into the llama area, so it's not too far away. So I feel pretty good about how that came out. Oh, one of our tree frogs have an offspring. That's good. And so yeah, I think that I'm pretty happy with this zoo as a beginner zoo. What I'm actually thinking of doing is stopping this one in particular, though, and going on and making, since I've learned actually how to do the pathways, how to do how to do exhibits with the buildings and the wraparound, to kind of just restarting and making a zoo, a franchise zoo from scratch. For those of you who don't know, in Planet Zoo, you can make franchise zoos, which are basically online ones that kind of let you go in and lets other people visit your zoos and things like that. It works with the same rules as a campaign mode zoo where you have the money and you've got to get the exhibits. But but there are just a few things I think I'd like to change. I'll let you decide though. Leave comments below if you want me to just continue this. If so, we'll just be putting in another exhibit in this kind of area between our llamas and our giant anteaters. Find something that's obviously where we would need to build next, because there's such a big gap there. We don't want to leave it completely and randomly open. People are looking at their llamas. Go llamas, go llamas, go. I really hope they can go in and out. I should try and experiment with that. But anyway, leave a comment below, like I said, if you want me to start a new franchise zoo or keep working on this one, or I guess I can do 2 series. I can go back and forth between the 2 of them if that's what you really want. Like I said, I just feel like there are things I've learned about mostly the pathways and how the buildings work that I would reorganize this entire front quite differently than I have it now. Like I would build viewing areas for our Komodo dragons. In fact, I probably wouldn't even put Komodo dragons up front, knowing how much room those guys need. So much room for those Komodo dragons. Oh, look at little baby Komodos. They're going to grow up and cause problems for us. But anyway, I hope you learned a little bit about what I learned with building this barn here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a like below. If you want to follow this series or whatever series comes next, go ahead and click on that bell, because I'm not sure exactly what my posting schedule is going to be, but I'm definitely going to keep playing this game, and if I'm going to play it, I'm going to record it and post it on here so that you can watch me make mistakes, laugh at me, and hopefully learn to make better zoos yourself so I can see better zoos when I go onto the YouTubes. Anyway, this is Zoo Tycooner Steve thanking you for joining me today, hoping you like our lots of llamas exhibits, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.